Jai Baba. Welcome to this celebration for Naja Irani. We're so happy to be here today. The things that we'll do, first of all, we'll have a slideshow at the beginning. Karen Talbot put together a beautiful slideshow of Naja for us, and then we'll have a bio and then some sharing among us. So with no further ado, I'm going to ask Karen to go ahead and start. If you'd like to start with the slideshow, that'd be great.
What I'm going to be doing is just showing some slides of Naja, and then, as Ruthie said, giving the bio. So we're going to start with a photo of a very beautiful young woman, Naja, Baba's cousin. Here's a very early slide, and for a period of time, she lived with her mother was Shireen's sister, and there was another sister, Dowla. And when her mother died, and I'll go into that in the bio, Naja and her brother Pendu went to live with their family. So these are family members. Seated on the floor is Bailey Jahangir Irani. Behind him, this is the third sister of Shireen and Piroja, and this is Dowla. There we go. There's Dowla. And there's her husband, Uncle Faradun. Shireen was quite young when she had her firstborn, and that was Jamshed. So Faradun and Dowla brought up Jamshed, and this is Jamshed's wife, Khorshid, who was known as Big Khorshid, not because she was bigger than small Khorshid, but because she was older. And here's a picture of Naja. Okay, next slide. Here's a picture of Baba with Eastern women, and there is Naja. Okay, moving along. And here's the Eastern women at Nasik, and I'll just point out a few. Valu, who was with them as one of the servants, Mani, Small Khorshid, Mehera, Frani, Mehera's sister, Dali, Adi's sister, here's Naja, Big Khorshid, who is married to Jamshed, Baba's brother, Dina Talati, and Shreeder married into the Talati family, and Ramju's wife. And I'm going to mispronounce it. It's Aisoo. Seated, the only one that I know of, well, there's more, but I'm just going to point out Sunamasi, Khorshid's mother, and move on to the next slide so I don't misname anyone. Next slide, also the Nasik Ashram, 1933, Baba's women, Mantali, and disciples. Small Khorshid, Mehera, Sister Mani, Frani, Mehera's sister, Big Khorshid, Sunamasi, Khorshid's mother, Gulmai, Adi's mother, again, Aisu, Dina Talati, Naja, and there's Naja, Dali Irani, Adi's sister, and someone named Herja. I don't know. Okay, so that's that slide. In 1937, the Western women had arrived, and Baba with the crown over here. The ones that I can identify, if anyone knows of others, Rano, my mouse, come here mouse. Okay, Rano, Mehera, Kitty, looks like Naja. Next slide. So Naja was amongst the women that went with Baba to Cannes, to Paris, to France. And when they were on the ship, the waters were very turbulent. The Eastern women were down below. So when the waters were turbulent, of course, they stayed inside. But when the weather calmed down, Baba kept these women very, very cloistered. They would be they could get up out for some air when the other passengers were sleeping. And Chanji and one of the other men had to crouch and keep guard so that no men came out and saw them. So Baba, I believe this is Naja, Mani, Mehera, looks like Kitty. I don't know, I'm not going to say anymore. Okay.
Khorshid.
Is that Khorshid?
Yeah.
That's Khorshid. Okay, thank you. Chime in, help out. Okay, here's a picture, 1937, Villa Caldana Khan. Baba on the settee. Here's Naja, Mani, Mehera. This is Anita De Caro, if I'm correct.
That's Irene Belu. Irene Belu is
Up there?
no, to the left, my left, there. That's Irene Belu.
That's Khorshid smiling at Baba and her mother Sunamasi right in the front of, below Baba's head.
Right by the couch.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so that's Sunamasi?
That's
Yeah.
Sunamasi.
And Valu on the very right.
Yes, Balu on the far right.
There, Balu.
And two people over was Khorshid with the smiling and
There's
looking.
Khorshid.
Yeah, yeah.
There's Khorshid. Okay, we're moving on. Thank you. Okay, here's another picture with different women and some of the same women. And again, so is this?
Sunamasi.
Okay, so now we ID'd Sunamasi. This, I believe, is Anita De Caro.
Anita, yeah. And Elizabeth's way up there at the top.
Right.
To the left.
Mani, here's Naja, Elizabeth, Mehera, Baba.
Irene Belu.
Irene.
That's
And
Irene.
Yeah.
Irene. And that's Delia, I think. It looks like Delia.
Khorshid.
And the two other Western women, I think one was a protege of Norina. And anyway, Baba had invited, and one was a waitress that Baba had invited to come over to Cannes with them.
Christine, what's her name? Christine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is this?
Balu?
That's
This
Balu.
is Valu. Valu. This is Valu.
And anybody know the name of the dog?
Kippy?
No.
No.
No, that's looks like an Airedale maybe. Or
Okay, I'm not getting involved.
Maybe that woman has tights on.
No. Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think we saw this picture. Did we? Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so now we're skipping way ahead because these are the slides we have. And this was in 1959 at Meherazad. Baba with Mehera, Naja, and Mani. Mehera, Naja, and Mani. Okay, next slide. Beautiful picture. of
Naja.
Naja. How we all, those that met her, remember her. And there she is with her brother Pendu.
And
And here's Glenn McGreeny massaging her shoulders. And they're with Gaimai.
Gaimai. Yeah.
And here's
Karen, can you go back to that last picture, the early one, just before you came more, a couple more back?
Hold on.
Because it showed names at the bottom, so I wanted to verify where they were.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rosalie. What was that?
No, if you go back to, this is more recent here, but go back to that last picture of the early times before that.
Hans,
Before that one, and before that, there. Here it told all the names, no, and then go forward one, here.
Wait, Sunamasi, Anita DeCaro, Naja,
Naja.
Mani, Mehera, Baba, Kitty, Rano,
Irene,
Rain,
no, that's,
Irene
oh,
is on
Irene,
top.
that's
Yeah, Irene is
Irene.
on top. Yeah.
And Delia, that's
Delia.
Delia.
Khorshid, Unidentified Lady, and Valu.
Now
Right.
Delia is below Kitty there.
Mm-hmm.
That's Delia.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
no problem. Okay, so here we are, Naja with Gaimai and Glenn, 70s, early 80s. Okay, so here's a picture that was taken in 1978 by Jeff Shev. Some of you may or may not know him, but I traveled with Jeff. He was 18. It was his first trip to India. I was 27. I'd been there, and we traveled on Air France. And so since he took this picture of Naja, I was there. So I'm just inserting that little story. I was there at the time. Here's a lovely photo of Naja in a sari, which appears to be at Mehrabad.
Is Jeff related to Steve Shev?
Yes, brothers.
Oh,
He
for
was
heaven's
Steve
sake.
Shev's younger brother.
I'll be darned.
And here Heather took this beautiful photo of Naja, one of the older ones, I guess. And I want to thank Tony Zoyce for his permission to use these photos that were on his Meher Baba Travels page, and for Naja. Okay. So I'm going to stop the screen share, and I'm going to go to the bio of Naja. So that gives you a taste of her life. She was born on October 10th, 1908, and she died on May 20th, 1982. Her parents were, her father was Rustom Irani, who is known as Masaji and one of Baba's older men Mandali. And her mother was Piroja Dorab Irani, sister of Shireen. Her siblings were Pendu, or at the time, Aspandiar, and there were two other siblings who died young. Naja was known as Meher Baba's cook. And again, Piroja was the sister of Shireen, Meher Baba's mother. Naja and her brother Pendu were Baba's cousins. Their mother, Piroja, sometimes called Aunt Pila, as I mentioned, was the sister of Baba's mother, Shireen Mai. Piroja loved her nephew, Baba, very much. She married Rustom Irani, Masaji, and he also loved Baba very much and became one of the men Mandali. So she was in a family that was by blood very close to Baba's family, and also very much spiritually minded. Casey was close to Naja, and I called her the other day and she shared a few stories. So I'm going to share one story of when Naja was 4 years old that Casey told. When she was 4 years old, her family brought her to Babajan. And Babajan would have these male Northern Indian soldiers that stayed by her side. When Naja came with her family, for some reason, she was alone. And then during the visit, the men soldiers came. When the men soldiers came, Babajan, who rarely got up from her seat, took Naja, got up from her seat, took her away and brought her to what Casey thought was a more rarefied atmosphere, and then said, "Come, child, you are destined for God." Okay, back to my stories. From earliest childhood, Naja and Pendu loved their cousin Merwan very much. At the time, the family lived across the street from Baba's pumpkin, where Baba lived at Pumpkin House, the family home. He would visit them frequently, play games with them, tell them stories from heroic and religious traditions, which already well known became more meaningful to them through the manner of his telling and his explanations. Baba loved his aunt very much, and after 1914, and this was Naja and Pendu's mother, he would tell her where he was going, even when he didn't tell his mother. And when he returned, he would go and see her on his coming back. In 1917, Piroja fell quite ill. She sent for Baba, who came. She died that night. Naja was very sad and upset. Baba told her, "Why do you cry? Am I not here? I will look after you." Naja felt secure then and knew she need not worry. Baba took care of all the arrangements for them. Naja and Pendu were 10 and 14 years old, respectively. And they went to live with their mother's other sister and her husband, Aunt Dowla and Uncle Faradun, who we showed in the slides. Naja stayed with them for some years. And then Casey told another story, which I thought was quite neat. In the Parsi community, women did not cook when they were having their monthly cycles. Naja lived across the street. When Naja was an early teen, for every month, Naja would go over and cook for Baba and his family. At this time, Baba was still living at home. Shireen Mai was an excellent cook. So that's how Naja learned her cooking. She learned cooking from Shireen Mai. And Casey said once while Naja was cooking in the kitchen, Baba came in and said that whatever anyone tells you, don't marry. And this set her destiny. Back to the stories. When Naja visited Quetta in 1922, she gave Pendu news of Baba, who was living in Pune. Soon afterwards, Pendu heard Baba had walked to Bombay and they were living at Manzili Meen. At the time Pendu was 19, he was living in Quetta and working for Goher and Katie's father, Rusi. Rusi sent Pendu with another worker on a mission to go to Bombay and to pick up some supplies. When he got to Bombay, Pendu went to Manzili Meen and asked Baba to take him as one of the men Mandali, which Baba did. And that's how Pendu ended up living at Manzili Meen and becoming a member of the men Mandali. But how Naja comes into this story is that Naja went to Baba and said that she would like to have her brother living closer to her rather than in Quetta. And she was concerned that he might fall in with the wrong crowd in Quetta. So that worked out nicely. When they returned after a short stay, she was at Sunamasi's house. Baba sent Naja back to live with her Aunt Dowla again in Pune. Towards the end of 1924, Baba stayed again at Meherabad. At this time, he called Mehera, Dowlat Mai, Naja, Small Khorshid, and Big Khorshid to stay there permanently with him. They lived there in the old post office building. So Naja was there then. In the 1920s, Meherabad was flourishing. They had the schoolboys, hospital patients, many others. Naja cooked for 200 people daily. And I'm going to read something that Bal Kalchuri put in Lord Mehera about this. Because of the school children, hospital patients, and the large number of Mandali members staying in Meherabad, Naja had to prepare enough food for 200 meals each day. Help from the other women staying at Meherabad was not always forthcoming since they had their own duties. Once, when very tired, Naja thought, Mehera is not given much work. Why does Baba make me work so hard? Although Naja did not voice her thoughts, Baba one day called for his cousin and explained to her, have you ever heard the story of the two sisters, Mary and Martha of Bethany. Both loved the Lord Jesus intensely. Once Martha was preparing food for Jesus, while Mary stayed sitting by his side, listening to him speak. Martha did not like cooking in the kitchen all day long, for she had no opportunity to be in Jesus's company. One day, she complained to Jesus about it, asking him to order Mary to help her. But Jesus said, "By sitting by my side, Mary is serving me as much as you are by cooking my food." The sanskaras or impressions of everyone are different. Hence, everyone's duty is different. Mary was serving Jesus more by sitting beside him than Martha was by cooking his food. Continue doing your duty with love and don't think about what others are doing. You have no idea how great your service is. It is truly great, and in the future, you will realize it. Finally consoled, Naja thus received her answer, and from then on began doing her work with all her heart. Many years later, it was said by Meher Baba that she played the role of Martha in his circle as Mehera played the role of Mary. In December 1924, Baba took the men and women to Bombay. They stayed in the Barucha building in Dadar. Baba was speaking at the time and would quite often be in a fiery mood. One day, he suddenly told the girls to leave at once. Naja had to go first to the railway station and then Mehera. But soon afterwards, Baba followed them and allowed them to come back. They had instantly obeyed him, which pleased him, and that was what mattered. At the end of November 1933, Baba sent Meramani Naja Khorshid, her mother Sunamasi, and Valu to stay on Mehrabad Hill in the east room of the water tank building in the completely screened compound. Cloistered from the outside world in a completely screened-in area and obeying Baba's very strict orders, they lived there until the Blue Bus tours began in December 1938. In 1937, Naja went with the other women to France, and I mentioned that in the slideshow. They were extremely cloistered on the ship and in France. Later that year, and Naja continued to cook for them and for Baba as well as the other Western women disciples, whom he brought on visits from the Nasik ashram at regular intervals. Later that year, their stay of some months with Baba in Cannes, that's when a rain billow started to cook. But sometimes Baba would tell Naja to cook a particular Indian dish. After Baba and the women Mandali returned from Cannes in November 1937, Kitty and Rano joined the ashram on Mehrabad Hill. Baba told Naja to teach Kitty Indian cooking, and Kitty was to teach Naja English. During 1938, before the Blue Bus tours began, Naja became seriously ill with jaundice. Mehera then cooked for Baba. Naja was very weak and frail. She was unable to work for some years despite varying treatments. When the Blue Bus tours were about to begin in December 1938, Naja was still ill. Baba said she must come, and she also said, "Yes, if I die on the bus, you can just throw me out." She went on the Blue Bus tours. Gradually, her health improved to a degree, but she could not work. So then Katie and Manu, by Baba's orders, became the cooks. At the beginning of the new life, Baba sent Naja and Katie to live with Arnavas and Naraman in Bombay. She missed him very much during this time. And in February of 1950, when Baba and the companions were in Dehradun, he sent Dr. Duncan to bring her there. And she continued cooking for Baba again at that time. Late in May 1954, the women all moved to Satara for the next 2 years. During this period, Naja cooked again for Baba and the household. Interestingly, for a time, she also had to dress up as some personality or character in costume each evening and entertain Baba. Then the second car accident happened in Satara, December 56. Baba and the women Mandali left for Pune for his orthopedic treatment. At the end of January 1957, Baba was able to travel and returned with the men and women Mandali to Meherazad. And that's where they remained in his home for the next 12 years, aside from the summers that they spent at Guru Prasad. And Naja was at those places with Baba and the others. In 1961, Naja had to have her tonsils removed. She was on the first floor of the hospital, and the doctor told her that she must stay another night. Baba said, no, you must not stay another night, return to Bindra House, which she did. Then there was a big flood, and the next day, the flood waters rose to the second floor, so she was spared by Baba's grace. Meromani, Goher, Mehru, Naja, and Rano lived at Meherazad with him. And continued to do so after Baba left his physical form on 31st January 1969. Naja had a very sweet nature, a wonderful smile, and deep love for Baba. She didn't have a great command of English as the other Mandali may have, but this never seemed to matter. Her love shone through. In the 70s, she would be on Baba's porch and Mandali Hall at Meherazad for the entertainment and the film programs. She had an eye problem, and I learned about this in a wonderful book, Judith Garbutt's book. I don't know, I hope you can see it, Lives of Love. And there's Naja. Yeah. And she wrote that in Mandali Hall, Naja would sit with one hand on her eye, holding a small black cylinder with fine holes punched in it, which somehow helped her see what was going on. And if she didn't have that cylinder with her, she would just make a little tunnel with curved fingers to look through. Naja wasn't as available as the other women Mandali because she was usually busy in the kitchen. She also trained an old Aragon village woman named Shev to cook for the pilgrims who would stay at Lower Meherabad in the 1970s. And some of us were fortunate. There were 12 people at a time, 6 women, 6 men, and we could stay for 4 wonderful days. So Naja trained Shev to cook there. And when the Pilgrim Center opened, Shev remained employed in the kitchen there. Naja's health was not always good. In her later years, she had heart problems. While Meromani, Goher, and Mehru were away in Pune for their short annual holiday break, in April and May 1982, Naja had a heart attack. And I'm going to insert a story that Casey told me because Casey was one of the few left at Meherazad with Naja. Casey was there when Naja had her heart attack. She thought Naja had died. There was barely any pulse. She gave Naja an injection and Naja was revived. Naja prayed to Baba, please don't let me die now. Let the women enjoy their vacation in Pune. The women Mandali remained on their Pune vacation for 1 more month. When they returned on May 20th, Naja died at Meherazad. Casey said when Mehera passed and when Naja passed, both passed on May 20th, different years, there was a special moon called Buddha Purnima. It's a special full moon. When Naja passed, Meromani and the Meherazad family sent out this message to Baba lovers throughout the world. Our beloved companion Naja has left us to be eternally with her Lord and beloved and cousin Avatar Meher Baba, whom she adored and served selflessly all her life. We will miss you, darling Naja, but cannot grudge you your well-earned happiness of reunion with beloved Baba. Our salutations to your supreme love and service to him. As instructed by Baba, Naja's ashes lie beside his samadhi on Meherabat Hill. The four small monuments containing the urns for Naja, Rano, Masi, and Kitty are placed in a line beside Mehera's shrine. Their names carved on the marble plaques remind all who go there of the dedication, love, and service which each gave totally to her beloved Lord. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
What is her birthday again? I mean, what is her birth year?
October 10th, which is our daughter's birthday, but Naja was born in 1908.
1908. And then
Died May 20,
Pendu is 4 years before.
1982.
Thank
Jai
you.
Baba.
Wow.
Oh, Jai Baba, everybody, thank you. Welcome to this remembrance of Naja on this New Life weekend. We're glad everyone's here. If you'd like to raise your hand, please digitally. If you'd like to share, we do that by hitting Alt-Y on a PC, Option Y on a Mac, and there's a little reaction button at the bottom. If you'd like to hit that, there's a hand raise function there. And Karen, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I want to hear everybody else's stories.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
All right. Well, I'm just waiting to see if anybody here is interested in speaking a little bit about Naja. I know we have Judy Robertson here, who I think spent some time, and Rosalie has her hand. So go ahead, Rosalie.
Well, Karen, I'm so happy that you did this, you know, so because immediately when I knew they were celebrating Naja, I thought, oh, they're having this celebration and, you know, the New Life celebration. I thought she'll just be totally overshadowed, you know, and it was like her life. And so it was so beautiful to hear that thing of her passing and wanting to make sure that they didn't tell the women Mandali don't spoil their vacation. And then she waited to die. Just so beautiful. Yeah, of everyone's role, because everyone's role is important because we're all God. You know, we're all God. Yeah. Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Rosalie. Yeah, Karen, it was beautiful. The slideshow and the bio. Dana? Jai Baba. Good to see you.
Hey, Baba. Thank you both. Wonderful. Wonderful bio. Really thorough. I feel like I need to listen to it again. There's so much new information, or information I'd forgotten, but some of it's new to me as well. I have two very short little things to contribute. And one is, well, besides that, I'll just say that Naja always looked to me like her cousin. She always looked to me like Baba. I thought of all of them, she looked the most like Baba to me. But once when I was sitting with her, she would come and sit with us on the Mandali side sometimes. I was sitting on the bench next to her and I said, Naja, all this talk about Baba being a sort of a normal child, is that true? She said, don't you believe it? Don't you believe it? Nothing normal about him. He was a counselor at 12 years old, people would come to him for counsel. He was not an ordinary child at all. And I'm sure she told me some more details that I can't recall now, but I just remember her saying that, don't you believe it? And then another darling thing that she used to do, she did it a couple of times sitting with me, and I'm sure she did it with others, she would put her forehead on your forehead and she'd say, "It's a good feeling." It was like an embrace. It was a very, very sweet, intimate thing she would do, just touch our foreheads together. But the other thing I wanted to say was that one time Mani was talking about, she'd been reading a book, I don't know if it was a novel or science fiction or new health fad or something. Anyway, it was about how we could really get all our nutrition from pills and we really didn't need to eat at all. And Mani was thinking, oh, how convenient that would be to not have to worry about cooking and eating and all the time it takes and everything. And she said, I had that thought until I walked by the kitchen and smelled Naja's cooking. And I thought, oh no, I can't give that up. We can't give that up. That's all I had to contribute for today, for so far that I can remember. Thank you. Thank you for the chance.
Beautiful, beautiful, Dana. I loved both. I love the forehead. That just speaks to me. Touching foreheads.
Very sweet.
Oh, yeah, the cook. All right. And there's Judy. Jay Baba, good morning.
Good morning, Jay Baba.
Happy New Life.
I'll echo those same appreciations for Karen's wonderful slideshow and particularly the bio. I apologize. I have only a few tiny but important little offerings as far as Naja goes, and they're both around her parents. It was Mehera and Arnavas that both corrected me when I spoke and asked them about Piroja, and they said, "Oh, we never called her Piroja, Naja's mother. She's known as Pila Masi because that's how Baba saw her and taught, it was both Baba and anyway, it was Baba's maternal aunt. She was, and his maternal uncle was known as Masaji. And so, and she's, both of them, Baba remembered very specially on his memorial tower. They are, I believe that Pila Masi was the number 6 woman that he put in when he made the original list of who was to be on the memorial tower. And she and Masaji are together, their names next to one another on the memorial tower. They're the second row right after his parents and other, like Baba considered them extremely important in his advent. And Pila Masi in particular has, I think, received short shrift because she died so soon. And as Karen so accurately pointed out, she was so important to Baba during those days when he was working, those 7 years of working with the Perfect Masters. And Pila Masi was the only person that knew where he was. And Shireen Mai, her older sister. So as it was said, there was Talbot Masi was the oldest, Shireen Mai the middle daughter, and as she was born as Piroja, but Pila Masi was the younger sister of Shireen Mai. And Shireen Mai, it was said that they lived across the street from Pumpkin House. But as that's true, But Rustom, no, it was Dorab, one day at Baba House, took me to that house and showed me specifically which one it was. And it was adjacent, it was next door to Baba House, and thereby also across the street from Pumpkin House, but not directly from the front door side. It was, at any rate, it was, they lived next door to Baba House. And Baba would always stop there when he went out of town, so that's to one of his different masters, to do that inner work of being brought down from that divine state that the kiss and the rock and the Pavardigar from Sai Baba had, you know, all of those encounters with his masters had placed him in. So, and Shireen Mai would be so frustrated. I know you know where he is. You know, she would reprimand Pila Masi, because Pila Masi promised not to tell, because Baba didn't want his mother or others to know where he was. And Peter Nordine told me that Pila Masi died in 1918 from the Spanish flu, the last great pandemic that the world encountered, that was at the rate, I think we now have taken over the number that have died from COVID-19, but it was that she died from. And Manu was the one that told me what for me personally is most heart-touching about Pila Masi. And that is that, yes, as was said earlier, Baba visited her every day and nursed her in those final days of her life. And she actually died in Baba's lap. So that was the mother of Naja, Jai Meher Baba.
Wow, Judy, thank you. What a beautiful, beautiful stories and beautiful ending. Thank you so much. What an image. Mihal. Jai Baba.
Okay, Baba. Good morning, good evening, everyone, and good night also. Thank you, Judy, and thank you, Karen. It's just amazing how you do those bios. And Rosalie, she was looking through glasses like you say you're looking through, with the holes in them. And sometimes you said you have those. And also Krishna, Ramakrishna, no, what's his name? The one who was in the Pune, head of the Pune.
Ramakrishna.
Ramakrishna, yeah, he also had those glasses with the holes. And I remember I was so impressed by that, because I said, how can you see anything? Because his were made out of tin, out of some kind of tin, and they were punctured. And I said, how can someone look through that? And I'm learning through Naja's story and Rosalie that it really helps impaired seeing to see better. So when you have punctured glasses, well, talk is about Naja. And I didn't meet Naja, of course, but I was cleaning the shrines of the women. I like doing it. I like cleaning in Baba Samadhi, and I like also cleaning the shrines of the women. And I also got the benefit of cleaning Mehera from time to time. So I would go, there's certain process that you do the cleaning of the shrines, and you start on the right side and when Goer and with Mani and Mani someone else does, and then Goer and Meru and Katie and Koshed and Mansari, and then you go to the other side and you start with Naja. And and with time, each one was emanating their own energy. It's like you could feel some of them through cleaning their shrines, and also from the photos, of course. And so Naja is so sweet. She looks so sweet. She looks, and I used to say, she looks like how do you call it? Well, I don't know how you call it. It's like the cakes that you have a hole in. How do you call that? The cakes that you have a hole, donuts. So in Israel, in Hanukkah time, it's not with a hole. It's like a blob of soft dough, and that's how her face looks. Like I would want to just hug with her because she's so sweet, and that's what used to emanate from her shrine. And also that we didn't hear much about her, because she was always in the background, she was always cooking, and she was never wanting to be in the foreground also, like Meru. And so she was very humble. And these are the two things that strike me. And the other one is a story of very, very early when they were in Mehrabad, when they just came to Mehrabad, and there were some men and women sitting together, and there was a dog that put his nose into the milk, and it was funny, and she passed by and she laughed, and everyone was laughing and sort of feeling very free around Baba, and Baba slapped her so strong she fell. It was so hard that he slapped her, and he said, and he berated her for being so forward and laughing with the men and the women there. And after that, he came to her. After a while, he came to her. She was crying, of course. He came to her. She was crying alone. He came to her and he hugged her and he said, "You are my cousin. I had to, it's not because of you what happened. It's because I had to give an example. And who could I do that if I couldn't, if not with you, who trust me so much, and you're my cousin, and you know that we love each other so much." So he hugged her, a big hug, and explained that explanation to her. And because she was cooking, she was always in the back. But the sweetness is what is most with her face. And thank you.
Jai Baba. Michal, thank you. Yeah, that's a beautiful explanation. That's a beautiful feel. Thank you, of Naja. Especially when someone had mentioned how much she made them think of Baba with the face, with her face. So that was beautiful. And the sweetness of the cook. Jai Baba. Meher Deravala?
Yeah.
Jai Baba.
I never saw Naja or anything. Just saw the movie today. But Karen took a lot of this thing and interest in showing it. Really lovely. Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Thank you, Meher Deravala. Yeah, it was beautiful to see the images and early images of Naja. And then later, beautiful. Well, I'm not seeing too many hands up right now, but Dana has her hand. Thank you, Dana. Jai Baba.
I just wanted to add one thing.
Sure.
I happened to be in India when Naja died. I was not in Mehrabad, unfortunately, or Merazad, but I was in Delhi staying with Kusum. And I just remember the atmosphere when that telegram or whatever it was, I think it was a telegram that came. The atmosphere was so beautiful and so expansive and so light. It was phenomenal. And I remember I felt like I was just walking on air that day, walking in the streets in Delhi. And I thought, this is Naja. This is for her. I mean, it was absolutely palpable for days on end. Anyway, I just thought I'd include that in my memories. Thank you, Jay Baba.
Jay Baba, wonderful memory. Can't imagine being Baba's cousin. What an amazing connection. And thank you for that sense of freedom and expansion. That's really a wonderful thing to think about with Naja. Judy, you had something?
Yeah, I remembered a story of Naja from the early days of the ashram, back especially in the 30s, when she was cooking and so forth. But there was a period that went on for many years but I'm remembering this story vaguely. So forgive me if some of the facts are wrong. But it was I think when there were just, well, the 30s with Naja there, must have been the 30s rather than the early 20s. At any rate, it was generally early years. And when the other women would make mistakes, Baba would take it out on Naja. He would punish Naja. And other of you may remember, I think at some point Baba slapped Naja when perhaps I'm thinking that either Mehera or Mani had actually done whatever had been upsetting, because this was still when Baba was in that fiery mode. So it's likely that this was in the 20s. And anyways, many times, for whatever reasons Baba had, he punished Naja when his other closest women would make mistakes, which made them all the more wanting to please Baba so that their sister Naja would not get the brunt of that. And it's like, what a role she played in Baba's work. It can't have been easy, but she just kept on, kept cooking, kept and I just want to mention that, Dana, I love the fact of, don't you believe it, that Baba was just a normal child, because I'm sure it's so true. And to have been able to be there and see the very young Merwan. At any rate, thank you for that sharing. So that was my story of her taking the brunt of others' actions for Baba.
Wow. Yeah, thank you, Judy. Imagine going to Merwan when he was 12 for counsel. Yeah. Betty?
Ruthie, or actually Karen, or maybe McCall. I just have a question. I certainly didn't meet Naja, but I was trying to envision the order of how the tombstones are. Is that the right word? The tombstone, the little shrines for each
Yeah,
one.
the memorial.
Yeah, well, I know that Mehera, of course, is right there next to Baba, and then there's Mani, right? I don't. Could somebody help me? Maybe Mikal, who knows so much.
Mihal. Yeah, Mihal seemed to have a sense. Are you there, Mihal? I don't
Can
see.
maybe help. It seems she may have had to leave. It's quite late at night. Well, first of all, Mani is on the other side. So as you look at Baba's Samadhi, Mehera is on our left, but she is on Baba's right. And Mani is the larger stone on his left. So Mehera was Baba's right-hand person and Mani his left. And relative to a little fact about Mani's tombstone. Out of deference for Mehera and the utterly unique place that Mehera plays in Baba's advent as his beloved, Mani chose, Baba had left her the unique choice to be buried. He specifically said all of the other women would be cremated besides Mehera. Mehera was to be buried, and Mani could be buried or cremated. And cremation, as I understand it, Go here probably could correct this, is not sort of a normal, that the Hindus cremate, but not the Zoroastrians so much. But Mani chose to be cremated so that only Mehera's body would be there next to Baba's body. And in addition to that, before she passed, she left these instructions that though as we come up to the portico and we see the larger tombstones for both Mehera and Mani, we assume they're the same size. They're not. Mani specified hers was to only be 3/4 of the size of Mehera's. So again, that honoring of Mehera's unique role in Baba's advent. And if my memory stands, because now sadly it's been some years since I've been at Meherabad, on the left-hand side, as you're looking at the Samadhi, the first smaller tomb is Naja's. Yeah, I used to know each of them in the right order, and I dare not say beyond that, but since this is on Naja, I'm almost sure that hers is the first one next to Mehera's.
Yes, it is. It
Yes.
is.
Wow.
Mikhail, do you remember the order of the other three?
Yeah, that's she, and then Rano, then Sunamasi, and then Kitty Devi.
And on Mani's side,
It's the Dr. Goher next to her,
Goher.
and then Meru, and then next to her is Katie, and then next to her is Khorshid, and the most left to the cabin is Mansari.
sorry, right.
Wow.
And Baba, as long as we're on the women's graves, Baba left instructions that if Katie married, she was not to be interred next to his samadhi.
Uh-huh.
And I think most of you know that there was a time when she had a proposal and considered it and chose to turn it down. And so Katie is there, and then Khorshid and Mansari. Mansari closest to the kitchen where she
Yeah.
lived for all those years on the hill. Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank
Jai
you.
Baba.
Thank you.
That satisfies Betty.
Mhm.
All righty. Karen Talbot, Jai Baba, you have something?
I just wanted to thank Mikhail and Judy for sharing that not only information I didn't know about in putting the women's tomb shrines in proper order, but just giving us a feeling of who they were and why they were given such prominence. Because I know when I would go to the samadhi and go into the samadhi, then afterwards spending a little bit of time with each of the women. And I've also been most fortunate, like Mikhail, in being able, by Janaki's help and some other women, to do some of the cleaning of the tomb shrines in the morning. And it is a gift. It is an absolute gift. As Mikhail said, you have to be so specific, and there's certain ways to do things. And I felt there needed to be a book because I could not remember to do everything correctly. But it was an honor, and just lovely, and a lovely way to start the day in the morning. The door to the samadhi is open around 5. I think, yeah. Anyone? And then all the flowers from the day before, from the night before, are taken out by the men. It's quite heavy because there's so many garlands. And then the cleaning begins. And usually there's a line. So it's really a very special place to be early in the morning, and then Aarti starts. So I just wanted to share that. I'm looking for a paper that I have no idea. I haven't gotten up from here, but it's disappeared. I went to Mehera Baba Travels to find out the numbers, the Memorial Tower numbers for where her parents, Naja's parents, are on the Memorial Tower. I believe the father, Masaji, I'll check again, is number 8. And her mother is number 9 on the Memorial Tower. But I want to check on that again. I'll do that quickly. That would be Pila. And I'm just going to share that Alan and I had a very special last morning at Mehrabad, because we were in fact there for the special ceremony for the Memorial Tower. So it was quite a treat. But let's get back to Naja and other people sharing. And I'm going to just confirm the 8th and the 9th, which I believe they are. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Michal? Go ahead, dear.
I want to confirm what Karen said. Sorry, I'm on the
Yep.
elongated thing, so I don't know where to put my face. It's Janaki who is the one who is in charge of the shrines of the women, of the small ones. And Judy Stephens used to be on Mehera, and Carla on, no, sorry, Judy Stephens on money, and Carla on Mehera. So it's divided, but Janaki is the one who manages all the others, all the little ones next to Mehera and money. So it is a book. Every time I used to come, because I used to come yearly almost, or year and a half, and I used to have very short time, and I don't have a good memory. So every time we would start, Janaki would say, you remember, you do this first, and then you do that, then you do that, and then you do that. And she won't let you do it unless she sees and makes sure that you do it really, really in the right way. As Mehera, remember Mehera used to do the same thing. She used to have set ways of doing things with Baba's photos and Baba's setup and Baba's flowers. And it was, and she wouldn't let anyone do unless she really took care to the person would know how to do it in what order. And Janaki was so long in Mehrabad, and one of the very, very first residents. So, and she was on the hill with Mansari and with Nana, and she used to take care of the Samadhi and everything. So, so it is a book. And every time I'd say, well, can I manage it? Can I do it? I don't remember how to do it. And she would teach me again very patiently, and I would do it. And it was really, really special, special, special. to do so in the morning, in the early morning, to come to clean Baba's shrine, to come to clean the women's shrine, the energy, and just to come into Baba's. When you come there, you first come into Baba's Samadhi, and you bow down before anything starts. And before the cleaning, there's one cloth. They take the flowers off. The cloth, the flowers, they take them off, and they put one small cloth before the cleaning, so everyone can take their darshan for the first time in the morning. And only then they take it off and start doing the cleaning and putting the cloth again and everything. So yes, so it's really special. And each one of the women has a different character and a different energy to the shrine. It's really very special.
Michal, thank you. You look lovely today. I'm just admiring all the color that you have on it. You look lovely. Thank you for sharing. Rosalie. Jai Baba, Michal. Go ahead, Rosalie.
Jai Baba, as far as Naja saying that he was not an ordinary child, we've been doing a reading of Lord Mehera from the beginning, and I'm so struck by so many incidents in his early life. One of which, well, first of all, he was uncomfortable being around women. And I remember him telling his father, I'm just uncomfortable. And he says, well, it has to be for a while. But he went to a higher, I guess, high school, and he was around all boys. And Baba had this memory that if he heard something once, he could remember it. Well, he was in a Catholic school, and I guess it was either a Catholic brother or priest was teaching him, and he thought Baba cheated in this test. And Baba says, no, I knew it. And he didn't believe him, and he starts caning him. And that's like that ugly little punishment where they either have a twig or some little stick that hurts worse than a big stick, and they whip the hands. And so he was whipping Baba, and then as he saw Baba, he says, oh, Mewan, please forgive me, I'm wrong, please forgive me. Baba says, what is there to forgive? It is all right. It was a mistake. It is forgotten and forgiven. Now, this is a preteen. This is not some old learned person, whatever. This is someone in their pre-adolescence on forgiveness, so I thought, I just need to hear something like that. And one other thing was, because his taking birth as a human being, it's like we almost don't get it, and the more you get it, the more you just have to worship it. It's so beautiful. The other being, I blanked about the other, but his friend Bailey. Bailey was kind of an offbeat character. Shireen didn't like Bailey. She says, don't bring that boy around. I don't want him in my house. Baba just kept being friends with Bailey. He's not going to not be Bailey's friend. And Jamshed told Bailey that he was getting abused by his mother, and verbally abused because of having him for a friend. And so Bailey came to Baba and he says, Baba, I think we should stop being friends. And Baba says, no, Bailey, no. He says, we're friends. He says, this is not right that you're doing this. You think it's right, but it's not right. We're friends. So if you want this is how it will be, but I will always be your friend. I will still be your friend. So they continue being friends. They just didn't do it. They didn't go home where Shireen would, rant and rave about him. I don't want that boy around. And they just had this. Baba knew what friendship was. It didn't involve any other person. It's like a best friend, nothing that swayed, it was so beautiful. Anyway, just those two incidents, so precious beyond belief as a child, that he was really that way. And people did come for counsel. They just came to him, he was just like a love magnet. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you, Rosalie. Judy?
Oh, I wanted to show this one picture. I don't know if you can see it. It's Naja staring at Baba.
Beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
That
Because
is
usually she was in the kitchen and was not staring, but she got her stares in.
Thanks, Rosalie. Go
Um,
ahead, Judy.
just a quick clarification, especially for Karen, that when I said number 6 on, it's something from Lord Mehera, where they printed out the names of each of the women and each of the men that Baba had first indicated the very first time when he proposed the memorial tower be built, and his original list. And so among the women, she was listed number 6. And I don't remember where Masaji was. So that's a different list than what Karen is looking up for 8 and 9 or whatever it was actually on the memorial tower. But my point was they were very close to Baba and very important to him, was all I was really trying to note. So thanks.
Yeah, thank
Because
you.
Masaji is buried there.
Yeah, I'm going to do
Masaji
this quick screen share that Barbara Witherwax put up about the women's graves. And this goes and shows from the beginning with Mehera and Naja and Ranu and Masi and Kitty. And then that shows the graves. And then on the other side is Mani and Goher and Meru, Katie, Khorshed, Mansari. And this shows the old cemetery and where the rest of Baba's family. And so anyway, that's a site on Meher Baba Travels. If someone would like to look at that, I just wanted to quickly go over it. It's beautiful.
Aren't some of the pets there too in the old
Well,
cemetery?
there's a pet cemetery. I didn't get there. But it's gorgeous. You're right, Betty. Did you have something you wanted to share, dear?
It's really a couple of things. One, I just wondered about Bailey, Karen. I saw that Bailey was part of in that family photo, but he was not a real. Is that? I wondered if you wondered about that yourself. That he and it had to have been the same Bailey that was Baba's.
Karen, do you want to speak to that? I think it's a different Bailey. I asked Karen as well. Mhm.
Oh.
Okay, so yesterday, when Ruthie, you mentioned that also when we were looking at the slides. I don't know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If anyone else does, let me know. But thank you, everyone, and especially for seeing the samadhi and seeing where everyone has been placed. That was really extraordinary. But I did go back to Meher Baba Travels, and Shariar is number 3. Shireen is number 4. Rustom Masaji, Pendu and Naja's father, is number 8. And Piroja, their mother, is number 9. So that's what I have to share.
Karen, who is number 1 and 2?
I don't know, because I just went to the Naja's page and that's all I saw. But
Uh-huh.
that's an excellent question. We should look to find that out. Colonel Irani?
No,
no.
he's in the middle there someplace. He's there. He's there with all his opposition. He's on Baba's memorial tower. Baba said he was helping with his work.
Would it be? I don't know. We should look into this. I did want to read something else, if that's
Great.
okay. I just took out Katie's book, which I thought of, Cooking with Katie.
Oh,
And I thought, well, maybe Naja's mentioned here, and she is. In the preface, who is? Wait, Alan has something to share. Okay, well, whatever, we'll look it up. All right, so back to Katie's cookbook. During the years I first lived in the ashram at Mehrabad and traveled on the blue bus tours, Baba's cook Naja was ill. So Baba's beloved Mehera cooked Baba's food and served him. And I, along with others, cooked for the women's ashram. In the late 1940s, when Naja was better, Baba again called her to cook for him and the women mandali, which she did almost continuously from then on. But beloved Baba also gave me and others golden opportunities to cook for him. Baba's eating habits were very simple, and he mostly ate plain rice and dal, khichdi, dansak, dal and rice, and many different kinds of vegetables such as spinach, fenugreek leaves, Kerala, etc. He would like something new now and then too. When Baba was on a fast, which he often was, Mehera would usually make weak tea or orange juice for him. And then in the next page, she has some writings, and the title is, I Had Never Cooked in My Life. Baba first asked me to cook in 1939 when we were on the Blue Bus tours. I had never been in the kitchen before in my life because up to that time I had been in school and other people had always cooked for me. Baba called Mani and me in Jabalpur and said, from tomorrow, you two will cook for everyone here. That meant 35 people. I was thinking to myself, I have never cooked in my life. What am I going to do? Naja had previously been Baba's cook, but as she was ill, Baba had ordered her to rest from cooking during the Blue Bus tours. So I started cooking. Fortunately, I often shared a room with Naja, and she would teach me things, such as how much rice to use and how much water and so on. Also, I had to learn how to cook on a wood fire. Often the wood would be damp, and the dried cow dung cakes used as quick fuel would also be damp, and it would be hard to start the fire. If there was too much smoke, the food would smell like smoke. So I couldn't start cooking until there was a nice big red hot flame. There were a lot of such details that I had to learn. And then on the first day of her cooking, she put too much water in the rice and it turned out like pudding. The second day it was raw because she hadn't put in enough water. The third day she was determined to have it just right, but even then it didn't taste good. To top it off, her dal would be soupy. She just didn't know how to cook, and people started to complain to Baba about her cooking. He called Katie to him and said, Katie, everyone is complaining. Can't you cook better? I said, Baba, I'm trying my best. And really I was. Eventually, with Naja's help and with practice, her cooking really did improve. So when Baba put me in the kitchen, he helped me. And now you get this cookbook as a result. Say, Baba, get her book.
It's a wonderful book. You're right. Jay Baba. Thanks, sweetie. Go ahead, Alan. Jay Baba.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I
Great.
went to Tony Zois's travel page. The man is genius. I want to state it on the record. I want to swell his head. Number 1, Gustaji. Number 2, Dalit Mai. Number 3, Shiraji. Number 4, Shirin Mai. Number 5, Jamshed Baba's brother. Number 6, Faridun Masi. 7, Dala Masi. 8, Rustom Masaji. 9, Pilu Masi. And so I was wrong. But number 14, Chadi Baba. Number 15, Chacha. So if you're a Muslim, in good shape. Looking here, we got, this is the Mandali. Ghani's 22, Ramju's 25, Nervous is 27. This is really neat. Neela's 33. Anyway, goes on and on. Tony, it's on Tony Zois's Mehera Baba Travels. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, what's the title that you looked up? The monument?
It's under the Memorial Tower ceremony.
Yes. Memorial. Okay.
Which, by the way, Karen and I were, she mentioned we're at. I'm looking at a picture of Sava Coatwall's there. Yeah.
So sweet. Yeah.
Back to not, yeah, back to we were there for the ceremonies. We did have stories about Mehera's birthday, Naraman and Arnavas's marriage, Chandi's bedroll, Masaji dying. It was quite the weekend. Yeah, in 1944. Anyway, that's another story.
Yeah. No, you weren't there in 1944, but yeah.
How do you know? I was born in 46.
You got a point there now. You got a good point.
We actually, Digambar was there in 1944 with his father, who was one of the Mandali, as we know. And Digambar actually gave a talk during the Memorial Towers presentation. And he said he was 9 years old at the time. And it just, you know, I was so pleased to see him before the ceremony, but geez, Willikers, there he was 75 years later, remembering what happened when he was 9. Who could remember such a thing? But there he was. It was very, very, I mean, the whole thing was special. That was particularly touching to me.
Yes, I should think all those moments with the avatar would be burned into your brain, into your memory. How could you forget? Thank you. What a wonderful thought, Alan. Thank you. Jay Papa. Mihal?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, oh, Ellen, that was wonderful. Just being in all these special days. Wow, it's so precious, really special. I just wanted to point out that, like I say, that when I used to clean the shrines, everyone had their own energy, you know, their own energy. That was Najas and Kitties and Sunamasis. Everyone had their own energy. So our Zoom has the energy of Naja. And what we are doing in this Zoom, probably to her pleasure, is talking about Mehera, talking about Anavas, talking about the tower, talking about Baba, you know, like talking about, she's not only asking to be talked about herself, she's also wanting to honor her friends and Baba, of course. So each of these Zooms has the energy of the person that we are talking about, and I feel that this is the energy that she is bringing. So that's what I wanted to point out. And I'm wondering if Goher has any stories of meeting her.
I'm sorry, who? Goher?
Goher, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask her too. Thank you. No, I really appreciate what you just said, Mihal. I was sitting here myself just marveling at how we come together to adore the beloved Mehera Baba, our avatar Mehera Baba. And then each person and the flavor that they brought into his, or he brought through them. It's wonderful that we get to share it and be here together with it. And yeah, I could just, I hate to embarrass anyone, but Goher, do you have any memories or any stories?
Jai Baba, everyone. I don't have any personal stories related just between Naja and myself, but I do remember meeting her as a child when I was almost 8 years old in '62, when were there for the East-West gathering. And then after one of the sessions that we had with Baba personally, he sent us to be with the women, our Karachi women's group. And so we were there sitting with Mehera, Mani, and all the women, and Mehera asked me to sing a song, and I did. Couldn't refuse her, although I was so shy. But that's about the time I remember seeing Naja, and then again in '65. But again, as I say, nothing personal between her and me, but I just remember her beautiful smile and her very, very loving nature. So, Jai Baba, that's all I remember.
That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah.
That's a beautiful add to this day.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Goher.
Oh, sure.
Kind of just see it, the women together.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you
it was
so
very
much.
intimate gathering. So very precious memory to hold on to. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Jai.
Beautiful. Jai Baba. All
And
right,
thank
Betty.
you all.
Oh, yeah, really.
One thing I looked up Bailey. That is Bailey. That's the Bailey. He's in Tony Zois's Mehera Baba Travels. So
And what's his last name?
Irani, Bailey Jamshed Irani is his name. I can share quickly.
Please do, because I'm kind of curious.
Let's see. Why am I not getting?
You can put it up on the screen share as well if you like.
That's what I was. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Yeah. So here he is, and yeah, and this is that picture coming up. So this is the same fellow.
Oh. So this is the friend of Baba.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, this is Bailey. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And why? I didn't understand why he was in this family photo, but
Maybe that's where Baba met him, because Shireen didn't want him to be friends.
No, maybe he was welcome at Piroja's house, or no, Dowlett. Oh no, I'm confused. Anyway, yeah. So there they are.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
beautiful. Colorized, yeah.
Thank you for pointing
Yeah,
that out.
Yeah.
Actually, Shireen would have Jal spy on Merwan, because that's how much she didn't want him to be with Bailey, to let her know if he was seeing Bailey.
Well, we're going to have a Bailey day.
Yeah.
I think.
Bailey's memory is fabulous, and I'm sure a lot of it is in that boyhood to godhood. Why would it not be? Yeah. Well, he brought a lot. Yeah, he brought a lot. Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering if there's any more memories about Naja.
Yeah, I just have. Well, actually, it's about cleaning the tomb. When I was there, there were Mehera hadn't passed yet. There were I think there were a few of the old tombs, but none of the new ones. So that was I haven't been back, so I hadn't seen. But I remember it was Rhoda and Dolly who were presiding over cleaning the tomb, and we had to be there. I think it was 5 or I can't remember, quite early. And when I was there, the Sufis were there. They were busful. I think it was 87. There were maybe 3 busfuls who, and they stayed in Pune, and would come out in the day. But there were a few. There were who would come out to clean the tomb, which meant they had to get up in Pune at, I don't know, 2 in the morning maybe, and drive 2 hours to get there. And dear Barbara Bressman was one of them that I remember, and they would come to clean the tomb at so early in the morning. So that was pretty, I was pretty struck at their dedication. So,
Beautiful.
That's
Well, I just wanted to thank everyone for being here and sharing about Naja. If anybody else has any memory or thought about Naja, and if not, I think we'll close for today. Yes, go ahead, Karen. You're still muted, darling.
I'm looking things up. That could be Bailey in the picture, but so many names are the same that it could be a family member. One day, Merwan's friend Bailey, who had already enlisted. So I just want to say it's possible,
Oh,
but we're going to look it up a little bit more and maybe talk with Tony to get the right Bailey.
Very good.
And
All
that's
right.
it. And I want to thank everybody for coming today and the sharing and how fortunate we were to know Naja. And if not to have known her and met her, to keep learning more and more about her and all the women. So Jai Baba to all.
thank you, Karen. Boy, what a work of you.
Jai Mehera Baba.
Great.
Thank
Jai
you. Thank
Baba.
you, Jai Baba.
Maybe
Baba.
let's have a moment of silence together in memory of all these wonderful women. Jai Baba. If you'd like to unmute, we could say a Ki Jai together. Avatar, Meher Baba.
Baba
Ki
ki
Jai.
jai.
Avatar, Meher Baba. Ki Jai. Avatar, Meher Baba. Ki Jai.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Freddie. You're looking good.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lucy.
Alan.
I love you
Thank you, Ruthie.
hosting.
Thank you, Mikhail. Thank you, Judy.
Welcome.
You guys are wonderful.
Hi,
Jai
Fred.
Wow.
Mind. Karen, your work is so
Great.
beautiful.
Oh,
Lovely to
Barbara,
hear
I've been missing
everyone's
you on
stories.
RT
Jai Baba.
and your singing.
Jai Baba.
Janaki.
Love you.
Thank you, Gohar. You were one of
Bye,
the few
Ruthie.
ones who
Thank
met
you.
her.
Hi, Fred.
Thank
Good to
you,
see you
Mikhail.
today. And Barbara, we're so happy to see your new apartment.
oh,
Oh, she's
your
in your
face.
apartment. That's
Bye,
why I
Betty. What a
missed her.
cute kitty.
Bye-bye.